20 people have died and hundreds more injured following violent protests in Bangladesh.
Pro-Palestinian demonstrators took part in ceasefire rallies in Paris and London as the Israel-Hamas war passes 300 days. Pro-Palestinian protesters gathered in Paris demanding a solution to the ongoing war and calling for a boycott of Israel at the ongoing Olympic Games. Many expressed anger at seeing Israel's flag at Paris's Games, saying Israeli athletes should have competed with a neutral status, like those from Russia and Belarus following the invasion of Ukraine. A large crowd also gathered in central London, demanding an end to the ongoing deadly war. Protesters gathered and unfurled a huge red line which they say symbolizes the red lines Israel has crossed. The protest took place as the death toll in Gaza reaches 39,550, according to the Palestinian Health Ministry.
Germany and the Philippines have signed a defense pact which would allow joint military training, the possible sale of German weapons, and information sharing between the two nations. German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius and his Philippine counterpart Gilberto Teodoro Jr. signed the agreement in Manila amid concerns over China's growing aggression in the South China Sea.
We need to contribute to de-escalation. This is only possible if we keep all channels of communication open, including those to China. By participating in the Indo-Pacific deployment, we uphold the rules-based international order.
Tensions have heightened between China and the Philippines in recent months, culminating in a number of clashes in disputed areas of the South China Sea. The United States has also announced $500 million in military funding to boost Philippine defenses. A fresh outbreak of violence in Bangladesh has left 20 people dead and hundreds more wounded as student protesters clashed with police and party activists on Sunday. Bangladeshi authorities responded by closing schools and universities across the country, blocking internet access and reinstating a shoot-on-sight curfew. The demonstrations were calling for the resignation of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and followed earlier protests in July against a controversial quota system for government jobs.
Thousands rallied in the streets of Venezuela to support a candidate they believe won the presidential election by a landslide. Hundreds of opposition supporters were arrested last week after taking to the streets following the disputed poll.
Que no hay maniobra pseudo-jurídica que pueda tapar la verdad. La verdad está en nuestras actas, la verdad está en nuestros corazones y la verdad está en cada palabra que a partir de este momento seguimos pronunciando un solo grito de libertad del bravo pueblo de Venezuela.
Machado had been in hiding for days, saying her life and freedom were at risk. Masked assailants had ransacked the opposition's headquarters, taking documents and vandalizing the space. At least 16 people were killed after an Israeli airstrike hit a school housing displaced people in the northern part of the Gaza Strip. A further 21 were wounded, according to the Palestinian Civil Defense. After the initial strike, a resident reportedly received a call from the Israeli military telling them the school would be attacked again and leading people to run away. The death toll inside Gaza is now nearing 40,000 people. Israel has accused Hamas of embedding themselves within the civilian population and putting it at risk. Most of Gaza's population of about 2.3 million are displaced, many people multiple times, as Israel's military returns to areas where it says Hamas's militants have regrouped. Health services and sanitation have largely collapsed across the territory as hunger grows.